Are you ready to ace your CompTIA A Core 1 exam? In this video, we're going to continue our practice questions series with part 2, another 50 challenging questions to test your knowledge. This video will cover all 5 domains of the exam, including mobile devices, networking, hardware, virtualization, and cloud computing, hardware and network troubleshooting. We'll also focus on the most heavily tested domains, so you can be confident that you're studying the right material. So, let's get started. Question 1. You just completed a CPU installation. When you turn on the computer, the post sounds a series of beeps and the system won't boot. What is the most likely cause? A. The mouse is not plugged in. B. The operating system is corrupted. C. The CPU is not properly seated. D. The fan is running too fast. C. The CPU is not properly seated is the most likely cause of the system not booting and the post sounding a series of beeps after a CPU installation. A. The mouse is not plugged in. While a mouse is an important input device, it is not critical for the system to boot. The system should still boot even if the mouse is not plugged in. B. The operating system is corrupted. While a corrupted operating system can prevent the system from booting, it would not typically cause the post to sound a series of beeps. Also, since the issue occurred immediately after a CPU installation, it is less likely to be the cause. D. The fan is running too fast. The speed of the fan is not directly related to the system booting. While a fan running too fast could indicate a potential overheating issue, it would not typically prevent the system from booting or cause the post to sound a series of beeps. When the power on self-test post sounds a series of beeps and the system won't boot, it typically indicates a hardware issue. Since the issue occurred immediately after a CPU installation, it is likely that the CPU is not properly seated. The technician should recheck the CPU installation, ensuring that the CPU is correctly aligned and fully seated in the socket, and that the CPU cooler is properly installed. Question 2. Which of the following technologies has the fastest connection speed? A. Fiber, B. Satellite, C. DSL, D. Cable. Fiber optic internet is the fastest connection type among the options listed, offering speeds up to 10,000 megabits per second. Satellite internet, while capable of reaching speeds up to 300 megabits per second, is significantly slower than fiber and can be less reliable due to its signal having to travel a farther distance. DSL internet has a download speed range of 1 to 10 megabits per second, which is substantially slower than fiber, satellite, and cable. Cable internet can reach speeds up to 1,200 or even 1,500 megabits per second, but it's still not as fast as fiber. Despite the speed differences, the availability of these technologies can vary, with fiber not being as widely accessible as cable or DSL. Question 3. A technician needs to configure a computer with an external video card. After installing the card, the technician boots the PC, but no video displays. A technician should first verify which of the following: A. Sufficient wattage on the power supply. B. Correct BIOS boot sequence. C. Operating system compatibility. D. Latest drivers are installed. A. Sufficient wattage on the power supply should be verified first by the technician after installing an external video card and experiencing no video display upon booting the PC. B. Correct BIOS boot sequence. The BIOS boot sequence determines the order in which the BIOS will attempt to boot from different devices. It is not directly related to the display output or the functioning of an external video card. C. Operating system compatibility. While operating system compatibility is important for the functioning of an external video card, it is less likely to be the immediate cause of no video display upon booting the PC. The video card should still output basic display signals even before the operating system loads. D. Latest drivers are installed. While having the latest drivers installed is important for the full functionality of an external video card, it is not the immediate cause of no video display upon booting the PC. The video card should still output basic display signals even before the operating system loads and the drivers are loaded. An external video card requires power to function, and this power is supplied by the PC's power supply. If the power supply does not provide sufficient wattage, the video card may not function properly, resulting in no video display. The technician should verify that the power supply provides sufficient wattage for all components, including the newly installed external video card. Question 4. A user reports that print jobs sent to a network laser printer are not printing. An error displays on the printer indicating a paper jam. However, there is no jam and paper feeds correctly. Which of the following should the technician do first to resolve the issue? A. Restart the print spooler service. B. Reseat the toner cartridges. C. Replace the printer maintenance kit. D. Perform a cold reset on the printer. The correct answer is D. Perform a cold reset on the printer. A cold reset clears all internal memory in the printer and resets its settings back to factory defaults, which can resolve a variety of issues including incorrect error messages. The other options, restart the print spooler service, reseat the toner cartridges, replace the printer maintenance kit, are unlikely to solve a paper jam error, especially if the printer is indicating a jam when there is none. If the problem persists after the reset, other troubleshooting steps may need to be followed. Question 5. A user needs to purchase a new home wireless router capable of bandwidth shaping based on IP addresses and port numbers. Which of the following is the best wireless standard to provide this feature? A. 802, 11B, B. 802, 11N, C. 802, 11AC, D. 802, 11AX. The correct answer is D. 802. 11AX, also known as Wi-Fi 6. This latest wireless standard not only offers faster speeds, but also supports advanced traffic management features, such as bandwidth shaping based on IP addresses and port numbers. Older standards like 802, 11B, 802, 11N, and 802, 11AC, while each representing improvements over their predecessors, do not have the same level of advanced traffic management capabilities as 802, 11AX. Question 6. Which of the following is used to terminate UTP cabling? A. Punch-down block. B. Pigtail. C. Loopback plug. D. Riley connector. Correct choice. A. Punch-down block. A punch-down block, A, is used to terminate UTP cabling on a patch panel or wall jack. A pigtail, B, is a short length of cable with a connector on one end and bare wires on the other end. It is used to connect a device to a patch panel or wall jack. A loopback plug, C, is used to test the functionality of a network port. A Riley connector, D, is not a standard networking term. Question 7. A user reports being unable to connect a new Android smartphone to the Office Guest Wi-Fi network. The Guest network uses WPA2 enterprise security. Which of the following is the most likely cause of the connection issue? A. Incorrect SSID. B. Blocked MAC address. C. Wrong authentication protocol. D. Short DHCP lease time. The correct choice is C, wrong authentication protocol. A, incorrect SSID. If the SSID, service set identifier, is incorrect, the user would not be able to see the office guest Wi-Fi network in the available networks list. However, if the user can see the network but cannot connect, the SSID is likely correct. B, blocked MAC address. If the user's MAC address is blocked, they would not be able to connect to the Wi-Fi network at all. The user would not even see the network in the available networks list. Since the user can see the network but cannot connect, a blocked MAC address is not the most likely cause. D, short DHCP lease time. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, is responsible for assigning IP addresses to devices on a network. A short DHCP lease time would mean that the user's device may lose its IP address and connection to the network after a short period of time. However, this would not prevent the user from initially connecting to the network. It would only cause the connection to be lost after a certain period of time. Therefore, the most likely cause of the connection issue is C, wrong authentication protocol. WPA2, enterprise security requires specific authentication protocols to be used, such as EAP, Extensible Authentication Protocol, methods like EAP TLS or PEAP. If the user's device is not configured with the correct authentication protocol, it will not be able to establish a connection to the network. Question 8. Which of the following connectivity types allows a computer to connect wirelessly to a wired LAN? A, Bluetooth, B, satellite, C, WAN, D, Wi-Fi. The correct choice is D, Wi-Fi. A, Bluetooth. Bluetooth is a wireless technology that allows devices to connect and communicate over short distances. However, it is not designed for connecting a computer to a wired LAN, local area network. Bluetooth is typically used for connecting peripherals like keyboards, mice, and headphones to a computer. B, satellite. Satellite connectivity involves using satellites in space to provide internet access. While satellite internet can provide wireless connectivity to a computer, it does not directly connect the computer to a wired LAN. Satellite internet is typically used in areas where wired internet infrastructure is not available. C, WAN, Wireless Wide Area Network. WAN refers to wireless network technologies that cover large areas, such as cellular networks. While WBWAN can provide wireless connectivity to a computer, it does not specifically enable the computer to connect wirelessly to a wired LAN. WAN is commonly used for mobile devices like smartphones and tablets to access the internet. Therefore, the correct choice is D, Wi-Fi, as it is the connectivity type that allows a computer to connect wirelessly to a wired LAN. Wi-Fi uses wireless technology to connect devices to a local network, which can be a wired LAN. Question 9. A small business user reports slow performance across newly issued company laptops. After investigating, a technician determines the cause is a new OS update that is taxing system resources. Which of the following should the company implement to prevent this issue in the future? A, enable BIOS password. B, configure Windows update policies. C, install a third-party antivirus solution. D, disable user account control. Correct choice, B, configure Windows update policies. Enabling a BIOS password, A, is a security measure that prevents unauthorized access to the BIOS settings. It is not related to preventing OS updates from taxing system resources. Installing a third-party antivirus solution, C, is a security measure that can help protect against malware, but it is not related to preventing OS updates from taxing system resources. Disabling user account control, D, is a security measure that can reduce the number of prompts that appear when making system changes, but it is not related to preventing OS updates from taxing system resources. Configuring Windows update policies, B, is the most effective way to prevent OS updates from taxing system resources. Policies can be used to control when updates are installed and which updates are installed. Question 10. A user has added a second hard drive to a desktop PC. The user reports that sometimes the PC does not detect the second hard drive on boot, even though it is visible in the BIOS. Which of the following is most likely the cause of the issue? A. The storage driver needs to be updated. B. A faulty SATA data cable. C. The hard drive jumper settings are incorrect. D. The boot sequence needs to be updated. The correct choice is B. A faulty SATA data cable. A. The storage driver needs to be updated. If the storage driver needs to be updated, it would generally affect the functionality of both the primary and secondary hard drives. Since the second hard drive is visible in the BIOS, it indicates that the PC is detecting the drive correctly. Therefore, an outdated storage driver is not the most likely cause of the issue. C. The hard drive jumper settings are incorrect. This option is not applicable in this scenario because modern SATA hard drives do not use jumper settings to configure their operation. Jumper settings were commonly used in older IDE, integrated drive electronics, hard drives. Since the user has added a second hard drive to a desktop PC, it is assumed that both hard drives are SATA drives. Therefore, incorrect jumper settings are not the most likely cause of the issue. D. The boot sequence needs to be updated. The boot sequence determines the order in which the computer looks for an operating system to load. If the boot sequence is incorrect, it may prevent the computer from booting from the correct drive. However, in this scenario, the issue is not related to the boot sequence because the second hard drive is visible in the BIOS. The boot sequence would only affect the booting process, not the detection of the drive itself. Therefore, the most likely cause of the issue is B, a faulty SATA data cable. A faulty or loose SATA data cable can cause intermittent connection issues between the second hard drive and the motherboard. This can result in the PC not detecting the drive on boot, even though it is visible in the BIOS. Question 11. While troubleshooting an issue with printing multiple page documents, a technician notices the documents print out of order. Which of the following printer components most likely needs to be replaced? A. Fuser. B. Transfer belt. C. Laser scanner assembly. D. Registration assembly. The correct choice is D. Registration assembly. A. Fuser. The fuser is responsible for applying heat and pressure to bond the toner to the paper. If the fuser is faulty, it can cause issues like smudging or improper toner adhesion, but it would not directly cause the documents to print out of order. The fuser is not the most likely component that needs to be replaced in this scenario. B. Transfer belt. The transfer belt is responsible for transferring the toner from the drum to the paper. If the transfer belt is faulty, it can cause issues like streaks or uneven toner distribution, but it would not directly cause the documents to print out of order. The transfer belt is not the most likely component that needs to be replaced in this scenario. C. Laser scanner assembly. The laser scanner assembly is responsible for creating the image that is transferred onto the drum. If the laser scanner assembly is faulty, it can cause issues like distorted or missing images, but it would not directly cause the documents to print out of order. The laser scanner assembly is not the most likely component that needs to be replaced in this scenario. Therefore, the most likely component that needs to be replaced is D, registration assembly. The registration assembly is responsible for ensuring that the paper is properly aligned and synchronized as it passes through the printer. If the registration assembly is faulty, it can cause the documents to print out of order, as the paper may not be correctly positioned during the printing process. Question 12. Which of the following technologies uses short-range radio waves to transmit data between devices, such as for mobile payments? A. Wi-Fi direct. B. Bluetooth. C. NFC. D. Zigbee. The correct choice is C. NFC, near-field communication. NFC uses short-range radio waves to transmit data between devices, commonly used for mobile payments. A. Wi-Fi. Direct is a technology that allows devices to connect directly to each other over a Wi-Fi network, but it does not specifically use short-range radio waves like NFC. B. Bluetooth is a wireless technology that allows devices to connect and communicate over short distances, but it is not primarily used for mobile payments like NFC. D. Zigbee is a low-power wireless communication technology commonly used in home automation and IoT devices, but it is not typically used for mobile payments like NFC. Summary: Wi-Fi Direct does not use short-range radio waves like NFC. Bluetooth is not primarily used for mobile payments like NFC. Zigbee is not typically used for mobile payments like NFC. Question 13. A user is unable to print to a newly installed thermal label printer connected via USB. Which of the following should the technician check first? A. Print spooler service is started. B. The user has permission to access the printer. C. Firmware on the printer is up to date. D. The print queue is not stalled. The technician should check. A. Print spooler service is started first when a user is unable to print to a newly installed thermal label printer connected via USB. B. The user has permission to access the printer. While permissions can sometimes cause printing issues, it is less likely to be the first thing to check in this scenario. C. Firmware on the printer is up to date. Firmware updates can be important, but it is not the first thing to check when troubleshooting a printing issue. D. The print queue is not stalled. A stalled print queue can cause printing issues, but it is not the first thing to check in this case. Question 14. A company uses a print server to allow users to share a high-speed laser printer. Remote users report they are unable to print to the printer, while on-site users can still print. Which of the following is the most likely cause? A. Print server firmware is outdated. B. Incorrect driver is installed remotely. C. Print spooler service not running. D. Print server lost network connectivity. The most likely cause for remote users being unable to print to the printer while on-site users can still print is D. Print server lost network connectivity. A. Print server firmware is outdated. While outdated firmware can cause issues, it is less likely to be the cause in this scenario where only remote users are affected. B. Incorrect driver is installed remotely. While an incorrect driver can cause printing issues, it is less likely to be the cause if only remote users are affected. C. Print spooler service not running. If the print spooler service was not running, it would affect both remote and on-site users, not just remote users. Question 15. Users in a small office environment need to share data securely on the internal company network. Which of the following protocols should a technician recommend to best meet this requirement? A. SNMP, B. SFTP, C. DNS, D. DHCP. The technician should recommend B. SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol, to best meet the requirement of securely sharing data on the internal company network in a small office environment. Explanation for the other options. A. SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. SNMP is used for network management and monitoring, but it does not provide secure data sharing. C. DNS, Domain Name System. DNS is used for translating domain names to IP addresses, but it does not provide secure data sharing. D. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. DHCP is used for automatically assigning IP addresses to devices on a network, but it does not provide secure data sharing. Question 16. A technician needs to upgrade a graphics card in a computer. The technician needs a graphics card that supports 4 monitors simultaneously. Which of the following expansion slots should the technician verify is available? A. Mini PCI, B. M2, C. PCIe X16, D. PCIe X1. The technician should verify that the C PCIe X16 PCI Express X16 expansion slot is available to support a graphics card that can handle 4 monitors simultaneously. A. Mini PC. Mini PC is a smaller form factor expansion slot commonly used for wireless cards and other peripherals, but it is not typically used for graphics cards. B. M2. M2 is a versatile expansion slot used for various purposes, including storage devices and wireless cards, but it is not typically used for graphics cards. D. PCIe X1. PCIe X1 is a smaller expansion slot commonly used for various peripherals, but it may not provide enough bandwidth to support a graphics card that can handle 4 monitors simultaneously. Question 17. A PC in a conference room will be connected to a large screen TV for video presentations during training sessions. Which of the following video connectors is the most likely choice for this environment? A. Video graphics array, B. Thunderbolt, C. Digital visual interface, D. High definition multimedia interface. The most likely choice of video connector for connecting a PC to a large screen TV in a conference room for video presentations during training sessions is D. High definition multimedia interface, HDMI. A. Video graphics array, VGA. VGA is an older analog video connector that is less commonly used in modern setups. It does not support high definition video and may not provide the best quality for video presentations. B. Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is a high-speed data and video interface primarily used on Apple devices. While it can support video output, it is less commonly used for connecting PCs to large-screen TVs. C. Digital visual interface, DVI. DVI is a digital video connector that can support high-definition video, but HDMI is more commonly used for connecting PCs to large-screen TVs due to its wider compatibility and support for audio as well. Question 18. A user reports their PC consistently displays the time as 4 hours earlier than it should be. The BIOS shows the correct time. Which of the following is the most likely cause of the incorrect time display? A. CMOS battery failure. B. Incorrect time zone configured in the OS. C. Bad motherboard clock generator chip. D. Wrong date format selected in system settings. The most likely cause of the incorrect time display is B. Incorrect time zone configured in the OS. A. CMOS battery failure. If the CMOS battery had failed, it would likely result in the BIOS also showing an incorrect time. Since the BIOS shows the correct time, this is less likely to be the cause. C. Bad motherboard clock generator chip. If there was an issue with the motherboard clock generator chip, it would likely affect the time displayed in both the BIOS and the operating system. Since the BIOS shows the correct time, this is less likely to be the cause. D. Wrong date format selected in system settings. The date format would not affect the time display. It would only affect how the date is displayed. Question 19. Which of the following technologies allows multiple operating systems to run concurrently on a host computer? A. Multi-core CPU. B. Virtualization. C. RAID. D. Load balancing. The technology that allows multiple operating systems to run concurrently on a host computer is B. Virtualization. A. Multi-core CPU. A multi-core CPU allows for better performance and multitasking within a single operating system, but it does not directly enable running multiple operating systems concurrently. C. RAID, redundant array of independent disks. RAID is a technology used for combining multiple physical disk drives into a single logical unit for data redundancy or performance improvement. It does not enable running multiple operating systems concurrently. D. Load balancing. Load balancing is a technique used to distribute network traffic across multiple servers to optimize resource utilization. It does not enable running multiple operating systems concurrently. Question 20. A company wants to implement a solution that delivers computing services over the internet. Which of the following solutions would best meet this requirement? A. Cloud computing. B. Virtualized desktops. C. Remote access. D. Grid computing. The solution that would best meet the requirement of delivering computing services over the internet is A. Cloud computing. B. Virtualized desktops. Virtualized desktops involve running desktop operating systems and applications on virtual machines, but they do not necessarily involve delivering computing services over the internet. C. Remote access. Remote access allows users to access resources on a remote network, but it does not necessarily involve delivering computing services over the internet. D. Grid computing. Grid computing involves the use of distributed computing resources to solve complex problems, but it does not necessarily involve delivering computing services over the internet. Question 21. A user gets an error message that a printer has a paper jam. However, there is no jam present. Which of the following maintenance items should the technician check first? A. Fuser assembly. B. Transfer belt. C. Pickup rollers. D. Registration assembly. The technician should check C. Pickup rollers first when troubleshooting a printer that displays a paper jam error message but does not have a jam present. A. Fuser assembly. The fuser assembly is responsible for fixing the toner onto the paper. While a faulty fuser assembly can cause print quality issues, it is less likely to be the cause of a false paper jam error message. B. Transfer belt. The transfer belt is responsible for transferring the toner from the imaging drum to the paper. While a faulty transfer belt can cause print quality issues, it is less likely to be the cause of a false paper jam error message. D. Registration assembly. The registration assembly is responsible for aligning the paper as it passes through the printer. While a faulty registration assembly can cause paper misalignment issues, it is less likely to be the cause of a false paper jam error message. Question 22. A user's mobile device does not recognize any available wireless networks. The device was working yesterday. Which of the following should the technician check first? A. Reboot the device. B. Check for antenna damage. C. Verify cellular data is enabled. D. Check for open airplane mode. The technician should check D. Check for open airplane mode first when troubleshooting a mobile device that does not recognize any available wireless networks. A. Reboot the device. Rebooting the device can sometimes resolve temporary software or connectivity issues, but checking for open airplane mode should be the first step as it directly relates to the device's ability to recognize wireless networks. B. Check for antenna damage. Antenna damage could potentially affect the device's ability to connect to wireless networks, but it is less likely to be the cause if the device was working fine the day before. C. Verify cellular data is enabled. Cellular data is not directly related to the device's ability to recognize and connect to wireless networks. It is used for mobile data connectivity, not Wi-Fi connectivity. Question 23. Which of the following expansion slot types supports a serial connection and is commonly used for modems and older NICs? A. PCIe X1, B. M2, C. PCI, D. AGP8X. The expansion slot type that supports a serial connection and is commonly used for modems and older NICs is C. PCI, Peripheral Component Interconnect. A. PCIe X1, PCI Express X1. PCIe X1 slots are used for high-speed data transfer and are not commonly used for serial connections or older NICs. B. M2 slots are used for solid-state drives, SSDs, and other high-speed storage devices, and they do not support serial connections or older NICs. D. AGP8X, Accelerated Graphics Port 8X. AGP slots were used for graphics cards in older systems and do not support serial connections or older NICs. Question 24. A technician needs to transfer files between an Android device and a Windows laptop. Which of the following connection methods should the technician use? A. Infrared, B. Bluetooth, C. NFC, D. USB OTG. The technician should use D. USB OTG, USB on the go, as the connection method to transfer files between an Android device and a Windows laptop. A. Infrared. Infrared is an older technology that is not commonly used for file transfers between Android devices and Windows laptops. B. Bluetooth. Bluetooth can be used for file transfers between Android devices and Windows laptops, but it may not be as fast or efficient as using USB OTG. C. NFC, Near Field Communication. NFC is primarily used for short-range communication and is not typically used for file transfers between Android devices and Windows laptops. Question 25. Which of the following connector types uses a 15-pin configuration and supports analog video signals? A. HDMI, B. DisplayPort, C. Thunderbolt, D. VGA. The connector type that uses a 15-pin configuration and supports analog video signals is D. VGA, Video Graphics Array. A. HDMI, High Definition Multimedia Interface. HDMI connectors typically have 19 pins and support both digital audio and video signals. B. DisplayPort. DisplayPort connectors typically have 20 pins and support both digital audio and video signals. C. Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt connectors typically have a different configuration and are not commonly associated with analog video signals. Thunderbolt supports both data and video signals. Question 26. A technician is installing an additional 2 TB hard drive into a desktop PC. The user wants a drive configuration that provides fault tolerance. Which of the following RAID levels should the technician choose for this scenario? A. RAID 0, B. RAID 1, C. RAID 5, D. RAID 10. For a drive configuration that provides fault tolerance, the technician should choose C. RAID 5 for this scenario. A. RAID 0. RAID 0 does not provide fault tolerance as it uses striping without any redundancy. B. RAID 1. RAID 1 provides fault tolerance by mirroring data across multiple drives, but it would require at least 2 additional 2 TB hard drives to implement. D. RAID 10. RAID 10 combines both striping and mirroring, providing fault tolerance and performance benefits. However, it would require at least 4 additional 2 TB hard drives to implement. Question 27. A technician needs to crimp connectors on a Cat6 cable. Which of the following tools would the technician use for this task? A. Network tap, B. Punch down tool, C. Cable stripper, D. Crimper. The the technician would use D. Crimper for crimping connectors on a Cat6 cable. A. Network tap. A network tap is a device used for monitoring network traffic and would not be used for crimping connectors on a cable. B. Punch down tool. A punch down tool is used for terminating wires onto a patch panel or keystone jack, not for crimping connectors on a cable. C. Cable stripper. A cable stripper is used for removing the outer insulation of a cable, but it is not used for crimping connectors on a cable. Question 28. Which of the following monitors would provide the highest video resolution? A. OLED, B. CRT, C. IPS LCD, D. LED LCD. The monitor that would provide the highest video resolution is A. OLED, organic light emitting diode, B. CRT, cathode ray tube. CRT monitors are older technology and typically have lower maximum resolutions compared to modern displays. C. IPS LCD, in-plane switching liquid crystal display. IPS LCD monitors can have high resolutions, but OLED displays generally have higher resolutions. D. LED LCD, light emitting diode liquid crystal display. LED LCD monitors can have high resolutions, but OLED displays generally have higher resolutions. Question 29. A user reports that after removing a USB flash drive, the computer continuously attempts to access the drive. Which of the following is most likely the cause? A. Windows is attempting to index the files. B. USB power delivery is still charging the device. C. The folder is open in Windows Explorer. D. Write caching is enabled on the USB port. The most likely cause for the computer continuously attempting to access the drive after removing a USB flash drive is C. The folder is open in Windows Explorer. A. Windows is attempting to index the files. Windows indexing typically occurs in the background and does not cause continuous attempts to access the drive after it has been removed. B. USB power delivery is still charging the device. USB power delivery may continue to charge the device even after the drive has been removed, but it would not cause continuous attempts to access the drive. D. Write caching is enabled on the USB port. Write caching can improve performance but would not cause continuous attempts to access the drive after it has been removed. Question 30. A technician needs to configure a Soho wireless router to provide a separate SSID for guest users. Which of the following features should the technician configure on the wireless router? A. Port forwarding, B. Firmware update, C. WPA2 passphrase, D. VLAN. The technician should configure D. VLAN, Virtual Local Area Network, on the wireless router to provide a separate SSID for guest users. A. Port forwarding. Port forwarding is a feature used to redirect incoming network traffic to a specific device or service on the network. It is not directly related to providing a separate SSID for guest users. B. Firmware update. Firmware update is the process of updating the software that runs on the wireless router. While it is important for security and performance, it is not directly related to providing a separate SSID for guest users. See WPA2 passphrase. WPA2 passphrase is a security feature used to encrypt the wireless network. While it is important for securing the network, it does not directly provide a separate SSID for guest users. Question 31. A user's laptop performs very slowly after an OS update. The technician observes 100% CPU and disk utilization. Which of the following tools should the technician use to troubleshoot the performance issue? A. Dig, B. Log files, C. IP scanner, D. Performance monitor. The technician should use D. Performance monitor to troubleshoot the performance issue of the user's laptop. A. DIG, Domain Information Grouper. DIG is a command line tool used for querying DNS, Domain Name System, servers. It is not directly related to troubleshooting performance issues. B. Log files. Log files can provide information about system events and errors, but they may not directly indicate the cause of high CPU and disk utilization. C. IP scanner. An IP scanner is used to discover and identify devices on a network. It is not directly related to troubleshooting performance issues. Performance Monitor, on the other hand, is a tool that allows the technician to monitor and analyze various performance metrics of the system, including CPU usage, disk utilization, memory usage, and more. By using Performance Monitor, the technician can identify which processes or services are causing high CPU and disk utilization, helping to troubleshoot the performance issue. Question 32. Which of the following best describes a thin client? A. A PC with minimal memory and storage. B. A standalone touchscreen computer. C. A desktop virtualization endpoint device. D. A laptop with maximum CPU and RAM. C. A desktop virtualization endpoint device best describes a thin client. A. A PC with minimal memory and storage. While thin clients typically have minimal memory and storage, this option does not capture the main purpose of a thin client, which is to serve as a desktop virtualization endpoint device. B. A standalone touchscreen computer. A standalone touchscreen computer is not necessarily a thin client. Thin clients are specifically designed to connect to a remote server or virtual desktop infrastructure (VDI) environment. D. A laptop with maximum CPU and RAM. A thin client does not necessarily have maximum CPU and RAM. Thin clients are designed to offload processing and storage to a remote server, so they typically have lower hardware specifications compared to traditional PCs or laptops. Question 33. Which of the following expansion slots uses a serial interface and allows multiple devices to share a common bus? A. PCI. B. PCI. C. CNR. D. AGP. A. PCI, Peripheral Component Interconnect, uses a serial interface and allows multiple devices to share a common bus. B. PCIe, Peripheral Component Interconnect Express. PCIe is a newer and faster expansion slot that uses a serial interface, but it does not allow multiple devices to share a common bus. Each PCIe device has its own dedicated bandwidth. C. CNR, Communication and Networking Riser. CNR is an older expansion slot primarily used for communication and networking devices. It does not use a serial interface and does not allow multiple devices to share a common bus. D. AGP, Accelerated Graphics Port. AGP is an older expansion slot specifically designed for graphics cards. It does not use a serial interface and does not allow multiple devices to share a common bus. Question 34. A customer wants to purchase a new server and consolidate storage into a dedicated storage network. Which of the following solutions should the technician recommend? A. ICSI SAN. B. JBUD Array. C. FCOE SAN. D. NAS Appliance. The technician should recommend A. ECSI SAN, Internet Small Computer System Interface Storage Area Network, as the solution to consolidate storage into a dedicated storage network. B. JBOD Array, just a bunch of disks. JBOD Array is a collection of individual disks presented as a single logical unit. It does not provide the same level of network-based storage consolidation as an ICSI SAN. C. FCOE SAN, Fiber Channel over Ethernet Storage Area Network. FCOE SAN is a storage networking technology that encapsulates fiber channel frames over Ethernet networks. While it can be used for storage consolidation, it may require additional infrastructure and may not be as widely supported as ICSI SAN. D. NAS appliance, network attached storage. NAS appliance is a storage device that connects to a network and provides file-level access to clients. While it can be used for storage consolidation, it may not provide the same level of performance and flexibility as an ICSI SAN. ICSI SAN, on the other hand, allows servers to access storage over a network using the SCSI protocol. It provides a flexible and scalable solution for consolidating storage into a dedicated storage network. Question 35. A user reports that print jobs sent to a shared network printer are printing as garbled text on the pages. Other users can still print properly to the printer. Which of the following is most likely the cause of the issue? A. The printer needs a firmware update. B. The user's print driver is corrupt. C. The printer's fuser unit needs to be replaced. D. The print queue on the server is stalled. B. The user's print driver is corrupt is most likely the cause of the issue. A. The printer needs a firmware update. While firmware updates can sometimes resolve printing issues, it is less likely to be the cause of garbled text printing specifically. C. The printer's fuser unit needs to be replaced. The fuser unit is responsible for fixing the toner onto the paper and is not directly related to garbled text printing. D. The print queue on the server is stalled. If the print queue on the server is stalled, it would affect all users, not just a specific user. Since other users can print properly to the printer, this is less likely to be the cause. A corrupt print driver can cause the printer to interpret the print job incorrectly, resulting in garbled text printing. Reinstalling or updating the print driver on the user's computer should resolve the issue. Question 36. A user receives a new multifunction printer. Which of the following connection types would allow the printer to be placed anywhere within the wireless range of the wireless router? A. Ethernet. B. USB. C. SCSI. D. Wi-Fi. D. Wi-Fi would allow the printer to be placed anywhere within the wireless range of the wireless router. A. Ethernet. Ethernet connection requires a physical network cable to connect the printer to the router. The printer would need to be located near the router or have a long Ethernet cable to be placed anywhere within the wireless range. B. USB. USB connection requires a direct physical connection between the printer and the computer. It does not provide the flexibility to place the printer anywhere within the wireless range. C. SCSI, Small Computer System Interface. SCSI is an older interface primarily used for connecting storage devices. It is not commonly used for connecting printers and does not provide wireless connectivity. Wi-Fi, on the other hand, allows the printer to connect to the wireless network and communicate with the router without the need for physical cables. This provides the flexibility to place the printer anywhere within the wireless range of the router. Question 37. A user reports they cannot print to a network laser printer. The technician can confirm the print queue on the server is not stalled and other users can print to the printer. Which of the following should the technician check first? A. Proper IP address assigned to the printer. B. Printer driver installed on user's computer. C. Default printer configured on user's computer. D. Firmware version on the printer. B. Printer driver installed on the user's computer should be checked first. A. Proper IP address assigned to the printer. If other users can print to the printer, it indicates that the printer is properly connected to the network and has a valid IP address. This is less likely to be the cause of the issue. C. Default printer configured on the user's computer. The default printer configuration on the user's computer may affect which printer is selected for printing, but it is less likely to be the cause of the user's inability to print to the network laser printer if other users can print to it. D. Firmware version on the printer. The firmware version on the printer is less likely to be the cause of the user's inability to print if other users can print to it. The printer driver installed on the user's computer is responsible for facilitating communication between the computer and the printer. If the printer driver is missing, outdated, or corrupt, it can prevent the user from printing to the network laser printer. Checking and reinstalling the printer driver on the user's computer should be the first step in troubleshooting the issue. Question 38. Which of the following best describes a type of malware that hides its payload within legitimate programs? A. Grayware. B. Rootkit. C. Trojan. D. Worm. B. Rootkit. Best describes a type of malware that hides its payload within legitimate programs. A. Grayware. Grayware refers to a category of software that is not explicitly malicious, but can still cause unwanted effects or security risks. It does not specifically hide its payload within legitimate programs. C. Trojan. A Trojan is a type of malware that disguises itself as a legitimate program to trick users into executing it. While it can be hidden within legitimate programs, it does not specifically refer to malware that hides its payload within legitimate programs. D. Worm. A worm is a self-replicating malware that spreads across networks without requiring user interaction. It does not specifically hide its payload within legitimate programs. Rootkits, on the other hand, are a type of malware that are designed to hide their presence and activities on an infected system. They often modify or replace legitimate system files or processes to conceal their malicious activities. By hiding within legitimate programs, rootkits can evade detection and make it difficult to remove them from the infected system. Question 39. A user's iPhone will not display the lock screen after the power button is pressed. Which of the following components is most likely faulty? A. Charging assembly. B. Screen digitizer. C. Audio jack. D. Power button. D. Power button is most likely faulty if the user's iPhone will not display the lock screen after the power button is pressed. A. Charging assembly. The charging assembly is responsible for charging the iPhone and is not directly related to the display or lock screen functionality. B. Screen digitizer. The screen digitizer is responsible for touch input on the iPhone's display. If the screen digitizer is faulty, it may affect touch functionality, but it would not prevent the lock screen from being displayed. C. Audio jack. The audio jack is responsible for audio output and is not directly related to the display or lock screen functionality. If the power button is faulty, it may not properly trigger the iPhone to wake up from sleep mode or turn on the display. This can result in the lock screen not being displayed when the power button is pressed. Question 40. A user receives a new Android smartphone but is unable to make cellular calls. The technician verifies signal strength is being received. Which of the following should the technician check next? A. NFC is enabled. B. Contact list is populated. C. Proper APN is configured. D. Volte is provisioned. C. Proper APN, access point name, is configured should be checked next. A. NFC, near field communication, is enabled. NFC is a technology that allows for short-range communication between devices. It is not directly related to the ability to make cellular calls. B. Contact list is populated. The contact list being populated or not does not affect the ability to make cellular calls. D. Volte, voice over LTE, is provisioned. VoLTE is a technology that allows for voice calls over a 4G LTE network. While it is related to cellular calls, it is less likely to be the cause of the issue if the technician has already verified signal strength. The APN, access point name, is a network setting that allows the smartphone to connect to the mobile network and access cellular data services, including making calls. If the APN is not properly configured or is missing, it can prevent the user from making cellular calls. Checking and configuring the proper APN settings on the Android smartphone should be the next step in troubleshooting the issue. Question 41. A user reports that print jobs sent to the office multi-function printer are printing very slowly. The printer prints a configuration page normally. Which of the following should the technician do first to troubleshoot the print speed issue? A. Print a test page from the printer menu. B. Reinstall the print drivers on the user's PC. C. Replace the imaging drum in the printer. D. Connect the printer to the network via Ethernet instead of Wi-Fi. A. Print a test page from the printer menu should be done first to troubleshoot the print speed issue. B. Reinstall the print drivers on the user's PC. Reinstalling the print drivers on the user's PC may be a potential troubleshooting step, but it should be done after confirming that the printer itself is capable of printing at normal speed. C. Replace the imaging drum in the printer. The imaging drum is responsible for transferring toner onto the paper and is not directly related to print speed issues. D. Connect the printer to the network via Ethernet instead of Wi-Fi. While a wired Ethernet connection can sometimes provide a more stable and faster connection, it should be considered as a troubleshooting step after confirming that the printer itself is capable of printing at normal speed. Printing a test page from the printer menu allows the technician to directly assess the print speed of the printer itself. If the test page prints slowly, it indicates that the issue is with the printer and not specific to a user's PC or network connection. This helps narrow down the troubleshooting focus and determine if further actions, such as checking printer settings or performing maintenance, are necessary. Question 42. A company is deploying new Windows 10 laptops, but does not want users to have local admin rights. Which of the following features should be enabled to meet this requirement? A. UAC, B. BitLocker, C. TPM, D. UEFI. A. UAC, user account control, should be enabled to meet the requirement of not granting users local admin rights on Windows 10 laptops. B. BitLocker. BitLocker is a disk encryption feature in Windows that helps protect data on the hard drive. While it is a useful security feature, it is not directly related to granting or restricting local admin rights. C. TPM, Trusted Platform Module. TPM is a hardware-based security feature that provides additional security capabilities, such as secure storage of encryption keys. While it can be used in conjunction with other security measures, it does not specifically address the requirement of not granting local admin rights. D. UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. UEFI is a replacement for the traditional BIOS firmware interface and provides enhanced security features. However, it does not directly control user privileges or local admin rights. UAC, User Account Control, is a Windows security feature that helps prevent unauthorized changes to the system by prompting for confirmation or credentials when certain actions require administrative privileges. By enabling UAC and setting it to a higher level, users will be prompted for credentials or confirmation when attempting to perform administrative tasks, effectively preventing them from having local admin rights. Question 43. Which of the following ports would be open on a Linux server running an Apache web server with SSH enabled? Select 2, A 21, B 22, C 80, D 443. B. 22 SSH, and C. 80 HTTP would be open on a Linux server running an Apache web server with SSH enabled. A. 21 FTP. Port 21 is used for FTP, File Transfer Protocol, which is not directly related to running an Apache web server or SSH. D. 443 HTTPS. Port 443 is used for HTTPS, HTTP Secure, which is the secure version of HTTP. While it is commonly used for secure web communication, it is not specifically required for a Linux server running an Apache web server with SSH enabled. Port 22 is the default port for SSH, Secure Shell, which is used for secure remote access to the server. Enabling SSH allows administrators to remotely manage the Linux server. Port 80 is the default port for HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is used for unencrypted web communication. Running an Apache web server on port 80 allows the server to serve web pages to clients. Question 44. A technician needs to replace a failed SATA hard drive in a RAID 5 array on a server. Which of the following describes the maximum number of additional drives that can fail without data loss on a RAID 5 array? A0, B1, C2, D3. B. 1 describes the maximum number of additional drives that can fail without data loss on a RAID 5 array. In a RAID 5 array, data is distributed across multiple drives with parity information. The parity information allows for data recovery in case of a single drive failure. However, if more than one drive fails, the RAID 5 array will not be able to reconstruct the data and data loss will occur. In a RAID 5 array, the minimum number of drives required is 3. With 3 drives, 1 drive can fail without data loss. The remaining 2 drives will still have the necessary data and parity information to reconstruct the data from the failed drive. If a second drive fails in a RAID 5 array, the array will lose the necessary parity information to reconstruct the data. Therefore, a maximum of 1 additional drive can fail without data loss in a RAID 5 array. Question 45. A user upgraded their Wi-Fi card in their laptop but now gets limited connectivity issues. The laptop was previously connected successfully to the 5GHz wireless network. Which of the following is the most likely cause? A. Incorrect antenna channels. B. Missing Wi-Fi card drivers. C. Wi-Fi card only supports 2.4 GHz. D. Laptop battery needs replaced. C. Wi-Fi card only supports 2.4 GHz is the most likely cause of the limited connectivity issues after upgrading the Wi-Fi card in the laptop. A. Incorrect antenna channels. While incorrect antenna channels can affect Wi-Fi signal strength and quality, it is less likely to be the cause of limited connectivity issues after upgrading the Wi-Fi card. B. Missing Wi-Fi card drivers. Missing Wi-Fi card drivers can cause issues with the functionality of the Wi-Fi card, but it is less likely to result in limited connectivity issues specifically. D. Laptop battery needs to be replaced. The laptop battery is not directly related to Wi-Fi connectivity issues. If the laptop was previously connected successfully to the 5GHz wireless network and now experiences limited connectivity issues, after upgrading the Wi-Fi card, it suggests that the new Wi-Fi card may only support the 2.4 GHz frequency band. The 5GHz network may not be compatible with the new Wi-Fi card, resulting in limited connectivity or no connection at all. Checking the specifications of the new Wi-Fi card to confirm its supported frequency bands can help determine if this is the cause of the issue. Question 46. Which of the following ports uses TCP and is used for email access? A. 80, B. 443, C. 23, D. 110. D. 110 is the port that uses TCP and is used for email access. A. 80, port 80 is used for HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is used for web communication. B. 443, port 443 is used for HTTPS, HTTP Secure, which is the secure version of HTTP. C. 23, port 23 is used for Telnet, which is a protocol used for remote terminal access. Port 110 is used for the POP3, Post Office Protocol version 3, which is a protocol used for retrieving email from a mail server. It uses TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, for reliable communication. Question 47. A user is unable to print to a shared network laser printer. The technician can ping the printer's IP address. Which of the following should the technician verify on the user's computer first? A. The firewall service is running. B. The print drivers are installed. C. User account permissions. D. Local print spooler service is started. B. The print drivers are installed should be verified on the user's computer first. A. The firewall service is running. While a firewall can potentially block network communication with the printer, if the technician is able to ping the printer's IP address successfully, it indicates that network connectivity is established, and the firewall is not the immediate cause of the issue. C. User account permissions. User account permissions can affect access to shared resources, but if the technician is able to ping the printer's IP address, it suggests that network connectivity is not the issue, and user account permissions may not be the immediate cause of the problem. D. Local print spooler service is started. The local print spooler service is responsible for managing print jobs on the user's computer. While it is a potential troubleshooting step, verifying the print drivers are installed is a more appropriate first step. Verifying that the print drivers are installed on the user's computer is important, because without the necessary print drivers, the computer will not be able to communicate with the printer and send print jobs. The technician should ensure that the correct print drivers are installed for the specific printer model and that they are up to date. Question 48. Which of the following hardware devices forward data packets between multiple networks? A. NIC. B. Bridge. C. Router. D. Hub. C. Router is the hardware device that forwards data packets between multiple networks. A. NIC, network interface card. A NIC is a hardware component that allows a computer to connect to a network. It enables the computer to send and receive data packets, but it does not forward packets between multiple networks. B. Bridge. A bridge is a networking device that connects multiple network segments together. It operates at the data link layer of the OSI model and can forward packets between networks, but it is typically used to connect segments of the same network, not multiple networks. D. Hub. A hub is a networking device that connects multiple devices together in a network. However, it operates at the physical layer of the OSI model and simply broadcasts incoming packets to all connected devices, rather than forwarding packets between networks. A router is a networking device that operates at the network layer of the OSI model. It is designed to connect multiple networks together and forward data packets between them. Routers use routing tables and protocols to determine the best path for forwarding packets to their destination across different networks. Question 49. A company wants to improve server performance by using multiple hard drives together as a single volume. Which of the following RAID levels should the technician implement? A. RAID 0. B. RAID 1. C. RAID 5. D. RAID 10. D. RAID 10 should be implemented to improve server performance by using multiple hard drives together as a single volume. A. RAID 0. RAID 0, also known as striping, combines multiple hard drives into a single volume without redundancy. It improves performance by distributing data across multiple drives, but it does not provide any fault tolerance. If one drive fails, all data is lost. B. RAID 1. RAID 1, also known as mirroring, duplicates data across multiple drives for redundancy. It provides fault tolerance by creating an exact copy of data on each drive, but it does not improve performance. C. RAID 5. RAID 5 combines multiple hard drives into a single volume with distributed parity. It provides both performance improvement and fault tolerance. However, RAID 5 requires at least 3 drives and has a higher overhead for parity calculations, which may impact performance. D. RAID 10. RAID 10, also known as RAID 1 plus 0, combines mirroring, RAID 1, and striping, RAID 0. It provides both performance improvement and fault tolerance. Data is striped across multiple mirrored pairs of drives, offering both increased performance and redundancy. RAID 10 requires a minimum of 4 drives, and it can sustain multiple drive failures as long as they do not occur within the same mirrored pair. For improving server performance while maintaining fault tolerance, RAID 10 is the recommended choice as it offers both performance improvement and redundancy. Question 50. A user reports the cursor jumps around erratically while typing. Which of the following devices should the technician check first? A. Keyboard. B. Hard drive. C. Touchpad. D. Display. C. The touchpad should be checked first by the technician when a user reports that the cursor jumps around erratically while typing. A. Keyboard. The keyboard is not directly related to the movement of the cursor on the screen. Issues with the keyboard would typically manifest as problems with key input or typing, rather than cursor movement. B. Hard drive. The hard drive is responsible for storing data and does not have a direct impact on the movement of the cursor. D. Display. The display is responsible for showing the visual output on the screen and does not directly affect the movement of the cursor. When the cursor jumps around erratically while typing, the most likely cause is unintentional touchpad input. The user's palm or fingers may accidentally touch the touchpad while typing, causing the cursor to move unexpectedly. Checking the touchpad settings, adjusting sensitivity, or disabling the touchpad while typing can help resolve the issue. That's it for part 2 of our CompTIA A Core 220-1101 practice question series. We covered a lot of ground in this video, so be sure to review the questions and explanations carefully. If you have any questions about the questions or the material covered in this video, please leave them in the comments section below, and be sure to check back next time for part 3 of our practice question series.